Speaking of hometowns, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast because I'm dying to dive into this. So for Jason's hometown, you kept saying we're very different. We're very different.
Yeah.
What exactly did you mean by that? Because I was watching like, what does she mean? I need to know. Let me call her.
I think a lot of people were kind of thinking that, but it's hard because what the viewers are seeing only a portion of things. So I look at it like way more intensely, I feel like, than what you're seeing. But Jason and I are just so different in that he's much more reserved than I am. And he was pretty open about the process being difficult for him. Yes. So I think just like that in general, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm more of an extrovert. I love attention. And it's just kind of like the way we connected, we're definitely opposites. Not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm like, now that I'm meeting his family for the first time, really, like, hometowns were so special because you get to know so much about these guys that they don't tell you. Like having someone vet you and tell them, you know, this is what he's like as a baby, this is what he's like around all his friends, like that really paints a picture. So going into his hometown, I was just like, do you think that Jason and I are too different, basically, and just the way we like present ourselves to the world? Because it's like it could, you know, lead to some issues, like if you're that opposite, I feel. But hearing his family like reassure me was so nice. But I think people like were thinking there was a deeper meaning to it. But it's like I think even people watching it back realize how reserved Jason is, and like I've seen someone like him really on the show before.
How was it watching him in his interview back saying that he wasn't sure if he was ready to get engaged, and then not hearing that like personally, but you watched it back?
Yeah, it was a little bit of like an like what? But you know, I can't say like I was really surprised. Definitely, I think we just hadn't really had the time and space to like talk about it, because up until this point, you know, we had our one-on-one, which was pretty early, like no need to talk about an engagement then, and then time just kind of disappears. So we really didn't have like a comfortable space, like sit down and talk about it. But it was something that I would have guessed if it were to come from someone, it would have been him.
Okay. Yeah. And that opposites attract thing, like when I was watching, I was like, that's such a thing, you know. Some people really are into that. And I think a lot of times, at least from watching this show, guys who are a little more introverted love the more extroverted girls. So I was like, oh, but
which is actually, I am like in my previous dating life attracted to reserved guys, because
so that's what I was gonna ask that.
Yeah. Oh, you can like sit back and kind of like relax and have fun. It's not like a competition of like, you know, who's entertaining the most and stuff. I think it really comes from a place of confidence.
Yes. I agree. Okay, great. That makes sense then. That's what I was going to ask too. So in the past, you've dated more reserved, and so okay, yes, all right. It all makes sense, Gabby. It makes sense.
All right.